Hello and welcome to this fantastic video about business, innovation, and modern success. Today, we are going to explore a highly influential book that has completely changed how new companies are built. This remarkable book is called The Lean Startup, and it was written by an intelligent author named Eric Ries. Eric Ries is an experienced entrepreneur, a smart technology expert, and a famous business advisor. He spent many years working in Silicon Valley building software products and studying new corporate projects. He noticed a very sad trend where many brilliant startups failed completely after spending millions of dollars. These companies had smart founders, great offices, and beautiful marketing plans for their future products. However, they made one critical mistake, which was building something that nobody actually wanted to buy. Traditional business books teach us to create a perfect plan, find investors, and execute the plan exactly. But Eric Ries discovered that a startup operates in a world of extreme uncertainty and rapid changes. A startup is not just a smaller version of a large established company like General Electric or Toyota. A large company executes a proven business model that already has loyal customers and regular revenues. A startup is a human institution designed to create a new product or service under conditions of extreme uncertainty. Because the environment is uncertain, a long, detailed business plan is a dangerous illusion that leads to failure. You cannot predict the behavior of customers or the movement of the market 5 years in advance. Therefore, you must use a scientific method to test your business ideas as quickly as possible. The Lean Startup method is all about eliminating waste, saving money, and learning what customers truly want. Real change in entrepreneurship must start with a complete shift in how we measure daily progress. Progress in a startup is not measured by building a product on time or staying within your budget. Progress is measured by validated learning, which means discovering real truths about your customers through data. Let us look at a clear daily example to see the big difference between the old way and the lean way. Imagine a young man named Tom who wants to open a modern online food delivery service in his busy city. Tom is a traditional entrepreneur who believes he knows exactly what food customers prefer to eat. He spends 3 long months writing a 50-page business plan inside his quiet home office. He presents this plan to a local bank and receives a loan of $50,000 for his startup. Tom immediately rents a fancy office space, buys expensive computer servers, and hires 3 professional software engineers. They spend 6 continuous months coding a highly complex mobile application with hundreds of features. Tom also spends a lot of money on beautiful billboards and online advertisements to promote his launch day. Finally, the mobile application is ready, and Tom officially releases it to the public with great excitement. But after 1 full month on the market, only 5 people download his app and nobody orders any food. Tom is completely devastated because he spent all his money and 9 months of hard labor on this project. He built a perfect application on time and within budget, but nobody wanted to use his service. Tom failed because he acted on untested assumptions instead of testing the market early. Now let us look at a lean entrepreneur named Mary, who wants to start the exact same type of business. Mary reads Eric Ries's book and understands that she does not know what customers truly want yet. She does not write a long business plan, and she does not ask the bank for a large financial loan. Instead, Mary decides to test her basic business assumptions during her very first week of work. She spends $50 to create a very simple website with a beautiful picture of a healthy salad. The website has a large prominent button that says, "Click here to order a fresh lunch today." Mary does not have any chefs, any food inventory, or any delivery drivers at this moment. She simply wants to see if people in her neighborhood will actually click the button to buy food online. On her first day, she shares the website link with a few local community groups on social media. Within 3 hours, 50 people click the button and enter their home addresses to order a fresh salad. Mary immediately contacts a local restaurant, buys 50 salads at retail price, and delivers them manually using her own car. She talks to every single customer at their doorstep and asks them what they liked about the service. She discovers that customers do not want salads for lunch, but they desperately want hot, healthy soups. Mary learned this valuable lesson in 24 hours, while spending less than $100 of her savings. She did not waste months building a complex application that people would ignore. This is the essence of validated learning, which is the foundation of the entire lean startup philosophy. To achieve validated learning, you must use a core process called the Build, Measure, Learn feedback loop. This loop is the most important engine of a lean company, and you must run through it as fast as possible. The loop has 3 main phases, which are build, measure, and learn. In the build phase, you turn your creative business ideas into a very simple product or experiment. In the measure phase, you collect real data from customers using your product in the real market. In the learn phase, you look at the data honestly and decide whether to continue or change your direction. Your ultimate goal as a startup founder is to minimize the total time it takes to go through this loop once. The faster you spin this loop, the faster you will find a successful business model that works. Let us examine the first step of this loop, which involves creating a minimum viable product, or an MVP. An MVP is the simplest version of a new product that allows a team to collect the maximum amount of validated learning with the least effort. Many product designers hate the concept of an MVP because they want their creations to be perfect and beautiful. They are afraid that customers will look at a simple product and think the company is unprofessional. But Eric Ries explains that any feature that does not contribute directly to learning is a form of waste. If you spend time building a feature that customers do not use, you are wasting your life and your money. An MVP is not a cheap or poorly made product that breaks down easily when people open it. It is a highly focused tool designed to answer a specific question about customer behavior and demand. Let us look at a famous real-world story about the creation of an MVP from the book. Imagine a man named Nick Swinmurn who wanted to start an online store to sell shoes to customers. In the year 1999, nobody bought shoes online because everyone wanted to try them on in a physical store first. Traditional business advisors told Nick that his online shoe store idea was completely crazy and bound to fail. If Nick followed the traditional way, he would have built a massive warehouse and bought thousands of shoes. He would have spent a fortune on website development before knowing if anyone would buy a single pair. Instead, Nick decided to build an incredibly elegant and simple MVP to test his core assumption. He walked down the street to a local shoe store in his neighborhood with a digital camera. He asked the store owner for permission to take clear photos of the shoes sitting on the shelves. In exchange, Nick promised to buy the shoes at full retail price if he sold them to online customers. Nick went home and put the photos on a basic web page with a simple payment button. When an online customer clicked the button and bought a pair of shoes, Nick walked back to the local store. He bought the shoes with his own money, packaged them inside a cardboard box, and shipped them via the post office. Nick did not own a giant warehouse, and he did not have an automated computer supply chain. He ran the entire business manually by himself, using his own physical labor and time. But his simple MVP successfully proved that customers were highly willing to buy shoes through the internet. This small experiment laid the stable foundation for Zappos, which became a multi-billion-dollar online giant. Nick successfully validated his business idea without wasting any money on inventory or infrastructure. There are several different types of minimum viable products that you can use for your business ideas. The first type is the video MVP, which is used to explain a complex product before it is physically built. Imagine a team of software engineers who want to create a revolutionary file-sharing computer program. The program is extremely difficult to code and requires many months of advanced engineering work. Instead of writing the code first, the founder creates a simple 3-minute video demonstrating how the program works. He publishes the video on a basic web page and adds a sign-up form for people who want to try the beta version. Overnight, the video goes viral and 75,000 people enter their email addresses on the form. This massive response proves that the market has a huge demand for this specific file-sharing tool. The team can now build the software with absolute confidence because they know customers are waiting for it. This is the exact history of Dropbox, which became one of the most popular tech companies in the world. The second type is the concierge MVP, where you provide the service to customers completely manually. Instead of using a computer algorithm to recommend items, you have a real human being talk to the customer. Imagine you want to build an automated smartphone application that creates personalized meal plans for busy users. Before hiring programmers, you find 3 local residents who want a personalized meal plan this week. You sit down with them at a coffee shop, discuss their health goals, and write a meal plan on a piece of paper. You text them recipe ideas every morning and ask for their feedback via normal phone messages. By doing this manually, you discover exactly what features your future application must include. You learn what people love to eat and how much money they are willing to pay for a plan. You can use this deep human knowledge to design a perfect software system later when you scale up. The third type is the Wizard of Oz MVP, where the front of the business looks automated, but the back is manual. The customer believes they are interacting with a highly advanced computer system on their screen. But behind the curtains, the founders are working frantically to perform all the tasks by hand. This approach allows you to test the customer experience before spending money on expensive automation. Let us move to the second phase of the build, measure, learn feedback loop, which is the measure phase. When you launch an MVP, you must measure the results honestly, using correct metrics and numbers. Eric Ries warns us about a dangerous trap called vanity metrics in business accounting. Vanity metrics are numbers that look very beautiful on paper, but do not show the true health of a company. Examples of vanity metrics include total registered users, total website views, or total social media likes. Imagine that your business website has 1 million total views this month because of a lucky video. This number makes you feel very proud, successful, and happy when you look at your computer dashboard. But if those 1 million visitors only stay for 2 seconds and nobody buys your product, the number is meaningless. Vanity metrics can deceive founders into thinking their startup is growing when it is actually dying. Instead of vanity metrics, you must focus your attention entirely on actionable metrics. Actionable metrics are numbers that connect specific human actions to long-term business results. Examples of actionable metrics include the customer retention rate and the conversion rate. The conversion rate measures the exact percentage of website visitors who actually buy your product. The retention rate measures the percentage of customers who continue to use your service month after month. If you have only 100 users, but 90 of them return every single week, your business is very healthy. These 90 loyal users show that your product has real value and that people love using it. To collect actionable metrics, you should use a testing method called A/B testing in your experiments. A/B testing means that you show 2 different versions of your product to customers at the same time. Group A sees version A of your website, which has a bright green purchase button at the top. Group B sees version B of your website, which has a calm blue purchase button at the top. You look at the data after 1 week to see which group bought more products from your store. If Group A bought twice as many items as Group B, you change your website button to green permanently. This scientific method removes personal opinions and arguments from your team meetings. You do not care which color the manager prefers because you follow the real data from the customers. Now let us explore the third phase of the loop, which is the decision point between pivot or persevere. After measuring the data from your MVP, you must ask yourself a very serious strategic question. Are you making enough progress toward your goals to continue with your current business strategy? If the data shows that your assumptions were correct, you should persevere and keep moving forward. But if the data shows that your strategy is not working, you must make a brave decision to pivot. A pivot is a structured course correction designed to test a new basic assumption about the product or strategy. When you pivot, you do not throw away everything you learned and start from zero. You keep one foot firmly planted in the things you learned while changing your direction to find success. Many famous tech companies achieved greatness only after making a massive pivot in their history. Imagine a group of founders who built a complex mobile application called Bourbon for smartphones. Bourbon allowed users to check into specific locations, earn points, and post photos of their travels. The application was too complicated, and users found it very confusing to navigate the menus. However, the founders looked at the actionable metrics very carefully during their review week. They noticed that users completely ignored the check-in features but absolutely loved the photo sharing tool. The founders made a brave decision to eliminate all the complicated features from the application. They kept only the photo sharing feature and added simple filters to make the images look beautiful. They renamed the simple application Instagram and launched it to the public with immediate success. Instagram became one of the most popular social networks in history because the founders were willing to pivot. They did not stubbornly stick to their original plan when the customer data told them to change. There are several different types of pivots that a startup can execute depending on the situation. The first common type is the zoom-in pivot, where a single feature becomes the entire product. This is exactly what the founders of Instagram did when they focused entirely on photo sharing. The second type is the zoom-out pivot, where the original product becomes a small feature inside a larger product. The third type is the customer segment pivot, where you change the target audience for your service. You might realize that your product is not popular with young teenagers, but is highly loved by busy mothers. Therefore, you change your marketing language and your product design to serve this new group of people. The fourth type is the channel pivot, where you change how you deliver your product to the market. Instead of selling your software through a physical retail store, you switch to an online subscription model. Deciding to pivot requires a lot of courage, honesty, and a clear mind from the entrepreneur. Many founders delay their pivot because they are afraid of admitting that their original idea failed. They keep spending money on a dying product, hoping that a miracle will happen next month. But a lean founder views a pivot as a normal scientific step on the road to building a sustainable business. Let us examine another important principle of the lean startup, which is working in small batches. To understand the power of small batches, let us look at a famous envelope stuffing experiment from the book. Imagine that you have to fold and stuff 100 paper letters into 100 blank envelopes. Each envelope must be folded, stuffed with a letter, sealed with glue, and stamped with a postage stamp. There are two different ways to complete this simple manual task with your friend. The first traditional way is to work in a large batch process to save time between steps. You fold all 100 letters first, then you stuff all 100 envelopes sequentially. Next, you seal all the envelopes with glue, and finally, you stick all the postage stamps on top. The second lean way is to work in a small batch process of one single envelope at a time. You fold one letter, stuff it inside one envelope, seal it with glue, and stamp it immediately. Then you move to the second envelope and repeat the exact same sequence until you finish. Most people firmly believe that the large batch method is much faster because it feels more efficient. However, scientific studies prove that the small batch method is actually faster and more reliable. In a large batch method, you spend a lot of time moving large stacks of paper around your table. More importantly, if the letter does not fit inside the envelope, you will only discover the mistake at the end. You will have already folded 100 letters incorrectly and wasted a massive amount of your time. In a small batch method, you discover that the letter does not fit during your very first minute of work. You can adjust your folding style instantly and avoid wasting the remaining 99 letters. Startups use small batches to release small updates to their software products every single day. Instead of waiting for a year to release a giant update, they release tiny changes every hour. This allows them to catch computer bugs instantly and see how customers react to new features. Working in small batches reduces the accumulation of hidden inventory and minimizes business risk. Let us now look at how a startup can find sustainable growth after validating its product. Sustainable growth means that new customers come from the actions of past customers. There are three main engines of growth that can drive a new company forward in the market. The first engine is the sticky engine of growth, which focuses on customer retention and loyalty. Companies using this engine rely on customers using their service for a very long time. Examples include online subscription services like Netflix or local gym memberships. To grow, you must ensure that your customer acquisition rate is higher than your churn rate. The churn rate is the percentage of customers who cancel their subscriptions every month. The second engine is the viral engine of growth, which relies on person-to-person word of mouth. Customers do the marketing work for the company automatically, simply by using the product. Imagine a smartphone app that allows you to send free video messages to your close friends. To send a video message, you must invite your friend to download the app onto their phone too. As more people use the application, it spreads automatically through society like a healthy virus. The third engine is the paid engine of growth, which uses advertising to buy new customers. To use this engine successfully, you must understand two key business numbers. The first number is the cost per acquisition, or CPA, which is the money you spend to buy one new customer. The second number is the lifetime value, or LTV, which is the total profit a customer brings to your business. If it costs you $5 to acquire a customer, but they spend $50 at your store, you will grow fast. You can take the profit and reinvest it into more advertisements to buy even more customers every week. A startup should focus on mastering one single engine of growth at a time before trying others. To maintain these engines of growth, you must build a strong, adaptive organization that can fix errors. Eric Ries recommends a powerful problem-solving technique called the 5 Whys from the Toyota system. When a technical or human mistake happens in your company, you must ask the question, why 5 times? This allows you to find the deep root cause of the problem instead of blaming a single person. Imagine that a company website crashes on a busy Friday afternoon and cuts off all customer sales. You ask the first why, and the engineer replies that the computer server became overloaded. You ask the second why, and he explains that a new engineer wrote a bad piece of computer code. You ask the third why, and he says that the new engineer was never trained to use the system properly. You ask the fourth why, and the manager explains that the training instructor had no time this month. You ask the fifth why, and you discover that the company executives do not value employee training programs. The server crash was not just a simple technical error made by a lazy worker on Friday. The crash was the direct result of a poor managerial system that ignored basic employee training. By finding the root cause, you can invest money to fix the system and prevent the mistake forever. The Lean Startup is a powerful set of tools that can guide you through the dark fog of business uncertainty. It teaches us to be humble, to listen to real data, and to treat our ideas as scientific hypotheses. Do not waste your valuable life building a giant monument to your own ego in an empty office. Step outside your comfort zone. Talk to real people on the street, and launch an MVP this week. Measure your progress honestly without using vanity numbers that deceive your mind. Be ready to pivot when the data tells you that your current strategy is a dead end. Embrace small batches, protect your limited cash, and accelerate your feedback loop every morning. Whether you are starting a small coffee shop or building a giant internet software startup, these rules apply to you. Success in entrepreneurship is not a mysterious gift given only to lucky or rich individuals. Success is a learned discipline that can be achieved through rigorous testing and continuous learning. Take control of your business future, trust the scientific loop, and begin your journey today. The modern world has unlimited opportunities for those who are willing to build, measure, and learn. Make every single experiment count and enjoy the sustainable fruits of a lean startup.